Hey everyone, welcome back to this 7-day course. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to write the introduction. So let's begin by first talking about some basic information. So the first thing that you need to know is that in the introduction, you have to paraphrase the question language in your own words. The question language is basically the description in the question prompt that describes what the graph or the chart is about. So you simply have to rephrase this question language into your own words. You have to make sure that you never copy the question language exactly as it appears. Otherwise, you're going to lose points for that. The way to paraphrase the question language is to use synonyms. Synonyms are different words that mean the same thing. So we'll see some examples of this very soon. And the second way to paraphrase is to change up the word order. So to change the sequence in which the words appear. Next, you have to make sure that the introduction is short and to the point. You shouldn't be writing a long introduction. In fact, you only need to write 1 to 2 sentences in your introduction. The reason for this is that you only have 2 to 3 minutes to write your introduction paragraph. So that's the basic information that you have to keep in mind before you write the introduction. Now let's take a look at a practice question. So we're going to use this practice question to write our introduction in this lesson, and then in the future lessons, I'm also going to use this same practice question to show you how to write the overview and how to write paragraphs number 3 and number 4. So if you'd like, you can pause the video now and read the question prompt. Essentially, the question is saying that this bar chart displays the telephone calls for the UK by categories. So here you can see that we have 3 different categories, and our data is from the years 1995 to 2002. So when you're writing the introduction, you have to paraphrase the question language. So what's the question language in this question? Well, here's our question language. It's this part that is circled in the green color. This part describes what this infographic is about. So any description about the graph or the chart is what we call the question language. And in the introduction, you have to rephrase this question language into your own words. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to exactly do this. So here's our question language, which you saw in the previous slide. And now we're going to start replacing the words in this question language with synonyms. Remember, synonyms are different words that have the same meaning. So first, we're going to replace the word shows with demonstrates. Demonstrates is a synonym for the word shows. Let's take a look at some more synonyms. We're going to replace total number of minutes in billions with simply time spent. Instead of telephone, we're going to simply say phone. Instead of UK, we're going to say British residents. Instead of 3 categories, we're going to say different types. And finally, instead of writing from 1995 to 2002, we're going to write between 1995 and 2002. So once we replace all the words in the question language with our synonyms, this is what our first paragraph looks like so far. The first paragraph reads, "The chart demonstrates the time spent on phone calls by British residents between 1995 and 2002. So notice that we have replaced many words from the question language with our synonyms. So this is a great way to paraphrase the question language. Now, you may notice that in this introduction that we have so far, we have not included this synonym right here. We have not said that there are different types of phone calls. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert this synonym right here before phone calls. So after doing this, our introduction would read, the chart demonstrates the time spent on different types of phone calls by British residents between 1995 and 2002. Notice that when you're inserting synonyms, you may have to add additional words to make it fit into your sentence. For example, you can't just add different types, you have to say different types of phone calls. So keep that in mind. Now, I want to show you a second method with which you can also paraphrase your question language. What we can do to improve this introduction is we can change the word order. For example, we can take this part here on different types of phone calls and we can move this part right here before the word between. So once we do that, this is what our final introduction looks like. The chart demonstrates the time spent by British residents on different types of phone calls between 1995 and 2002. So now we have successfully paraphrased the question language and our introduction is now complete. And that's all we have to do for the introduction. So I hope that you can see how easy it is to write the first paragraph. You just need to use synonyms and change up the word order and paraphrase the question language into your own words. Now, before I end this video, I want to make a quick note. I want you to note that when you're sitting in your IELTS exam, you should not try to break down this question language in so much detail as I've done here. So you shouldn't sit down in your exam and start breaking down the different synonyms like I've shown here. This is a waste of time. The only reason why I'm showing you this breakdown here is so that I can show you what's going on in my mind when I'm paraphrasing the question language. Okay? So just to be clear, all of this is supposed to be happening inside your mind. So it's as simple as that. Simply use the synonyms and change up the word order to write the first paragraph. So now that we have written the first paragraph to our practice question number 1, now we only have 3 more paragraphs left. So we're going to talk about how to write all of these paragraphs in the upcoming video lessons. In tomorrow's lesson, I'm going to show you how to write this second paragraph over here, which is the overview. So make sure to check out tomorrow's lesson on how to write the overviews. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.